Whether you like UKIP or not, you've got to admit that the party's 6 tests for True Brexit are definitive. UKIP has made it quite clear that it does not want to see Article 50 used as the route to leaving the EU. It has, however, put together a set of 6 tests to measure when we've achieved a true and proper exit from the European bloc. The first of these is the legal test. Parliament must resume its supremacy of lawmaking with no impediments, qualifications or restrictions on its future actions agreed in any leaving deal. Britain must wholly remove itself from the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. No undertaking shall be given in the leaving agreement that constrains the UK to being an ongoing member of the European Court of Human Rights. Therefore, any agreement whereby the ECJ or ECHR has any say in our laws or legal judgments means we have not left the European Union. Any talk that we must have a lengthy transition period means that until we cut all ties with the ECJ and ECHR, we are still firmly in the EU. The second test is the migration test. Britain must resume full control of its immigration and asylum policies and border controls. There must be no impediments, qualifications or restrictions agreed to in any leaving deal. We must not be bound by any freedom of movement obligation. The departure terms must facilitate the government finally making good on its broken promise to cut annual net migration to the tens of thousands. Therefore, any deal that exchanges freedom of movement for trading within the single market or customs union, for example, means that we're still in the European Union. The Maritime Test is third on the list. Joining the EEC involved a betrayal of our coastal communities at the behest of a previous Tory Prime Minister. They must not be betrayed again. Leaving the EU must involve restoring to the UK full maritime sovereignty. The UK must resume complete control of its maritime exclusive economic zone stretching 200 miles off the coast or to the halfway point between the UK and neighbouring countries. We must ensure that no constraint other than its own physical capacity or the needs of stock preservation or replenishment, as decided upon by the UK Parliament, applies to our fleet. This will give our fishing industry a long overdue chance to recover. We cannot allow our full maritime rights to be jeopardised during these negotiations. Not taking back full control of our maritime sovereignty means that a part of the UK remains under EU control. That is not fully leaving the EU. It also stores up problems for the future, possibly for hundreds of years. The fourth test is trade. The UK must retake its seat on the World Trade Organization and resume its sovereign right to sign trade agreements with other countries. The UK must have full legal rights to set its own tariff and non-tariff barriers consistent with WTO rules. This means leaving the EU single market and customs union. Continued tariff-free trade with no strings attached may be offered to the EU, but if the EU declines the offer, then WTO terms are the acceptable fallback position. Post-departure, both sides will have the ability to further liberalise trade on the basis of mutual gain. If our politicians end up negotiating a deal where we cannot make trade around the world as we wish or have to rely on the European Union to do it, then we will not have left the EU. Fifth comes money. There must be no final settlement payment to the EU and no ongoing payments to the EU budget after we have left. We must also reclaim our share of financial assets from entities such as the European Investment Bank, in which it is estimated that some £9 billion of UK money is vested. If our politicians sign a deal where we have to buy our way back into the single market, then they will have signed us up to a one-way tariff. Yes, that's right. We pay them, but they get free access into the UK, which is no real difference from today's position. Much better to have WTO rules where the tariffs work both ways, and because of the trade deficit we run with the EU, it will benefit us much more than it would the EU. The sixth and final test is time. Brexit must be done and dusted before the end of 2019. All of the previous 5 tests must be met in full by the end of 2019 for Brexit to have been meaningfully achieved. If we are still tied up with negotiations after this, it will prove beyond doubt that our political class has no intention of ever really letting us leave the EU. It would then be clear that they are just waiting for the chance to lead us straight back in under some pretext. As UKIP says, if all 6 of these basic tests are not met, then the decision of the referendum will not have been honoured and Britain will not really have left the European Union. Now, do you think meeting these 6 tests is achievable? Or should we just repeal the European Communities Act immediately and have done with it? Please leave a comment below. Thank you. Please do like and share this video. And also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.